What's up, everyone? Thursday night football showdown breakdown. Where my turds at? We got a good one on Thursday night. 49ers at Seattle. 43.5 point total. 49ers road 3.5 point favorites. Let's break it down. Bobbywow. It is a content bonanza here on the DFS Army YouTube channel.
I love seeing that people have to pause. Like they're like, this video is so good. I gotta pause it so we can watch this, and I'm going right back to it. That's fantastic.
That's what I'm saying. But it's not even. But wait, there's more. I haven't even figured out when are we going to squeeze in. We've got a 3-gamer on Saturday. We got a big 10-gamer on Sunday. It's a lot to squeeze in. We got a Thursday night football. I forgot about Thursday night football up until about like a couple hours ago. I was like, oh shit. I was ready to go out and go to Costco, buy some more crap, Christmas presents for my kids. Haven't done it. They got no presents.
We talk Amazon. No reason to go to Costco.
Amazon. I got to get on Amazon at this point. But we've got a nice little one. We've got a nice one going on. And by the way, they're pausing the game plan. Hunter, come on, get with the program, bro. We're breaking down all the games. We got bets. By the way, let me show you something, Bobbywow. Let me show you something. I don't play games. Okay, I'm going to show you something here. I don't play games. And I want to show you a couple things that we're doing over at Sharp App. But number one, all you need to see is your boy's betting record. Like, hello, shouldn't you be following this?
Up and to the right, baby. Of course.
I give these out. If this was a stock chart, you'd be buying right now. It's breakout. Ready to happen.
What are you, 11-2 over NBA the last? I mean, that's some crazy record right now.
Just in the last week, 11-2 on NBA with a draw. I got 5 NBA plays in for 10. Oh, shit. Are they showing on screen? No, because this isn't my live screen. I got 5 NBA bets in tonight, but I've just been crushing it. The model on the Sharp app is incredible. So, yeah, we got everything going on here. Let me see which screen do I need here. Oh, so many screens. But we're here to talk about a showdown.
That we are.
Seattle at San Francisco for all the monies. Now, the last showdown slate that we had involved injuries to the point where it was literally a shit show of epic proportions and a reminder. And you know what, Bobbywow, I had a conversation with John Sensational Alessia about this.
Okay.
You know, John's really pretty good at DFS. He's ranked number 20 in the world and all of that. Dude takes down 100K wins, doesn't even crack a smile. He can do an hour-and-a-half video with me without even cracking a smirk. No one can pull that off.
No one. Certainly not me.
Not a smirk, Bobbywow. I start to question my own sanity. And so I asked him, I said, you know, how do you deal with this shit? And he goes, you just automate it into your system. He will build, basically, he uses a lot of uniques, way more than what we normally do for his showdowns. And he said, I'm trying to win these. And that's really what it came to. He's like, I'm playing to win them. I don't mind if I lose all my money in one, but I play to win these. Meaning I don't go too heavy on any chalk ever. And it's relevant for today because we have the chalkiest chalkster in the history of chalk in Christian McCaffrey this week. And you need to make a decision. What are you going to do?
It's a big decision. It's one that I have trouble making, and I'm usually one who's ready to fade.
You really, you know, and that's the difference between being sort of like in your groove or not.
Yes.
Because in the full groove, you'd be like, I'm fading it. I don't give a shit.
Yep.
And then be like accepting the massive losses, you know, fading based on just like what would you give the in-game odds of a Christian McCaffrey gets hurt in the first quarter happening? Let's put a number on it.
I would probably be in the 10 to 15% probability. That's where I think about where I'm at.
All right, guys who are watching this, I want you to think about this very, very, just think about it. Train your brain to think about this. What are the real life chances that everybody loads up on Christian McCaffrey in this game? And we're gonna break the game down, don't get me wrong, but there's an important, because this is unique slate. What are the chances Everybody's playing this guy 50, 60, 70, 90% owned. Possible legit 90% owned across captain, tournament, FanDuel, just as much. What are the chances that he gets hurt early or just disappoints? Is not in the nuts, right? Kyler and Ramondre got hurt. You want to bet on that the other night? Loaded up on Ramondre. It could happen. The guy's always got a Q tag. Is it 10%? Give me your odds. Is it 20%? Is it 5%? And then I want you to think about what your chances are of making $1 million tomorrow.
I'm scared.
And then, you know, if you're that kind of person, you know, want to play the fade. We'll talk about how you could fade it in a wise way as well, in terms of also loading up on his backup. So
yes,
with all of that background being said, Bobbywow, I know what Bobbywow would do. Fade the chalk. I unfriend you.
This might be a unique circumstance, but yes, we'll talk about it.
All right. Isn't it crazy? Like when I talk about this almost every slate, so that it's like Geek said it was going to happen, but I say it. I try to say it for all. I try to give a reminder for every breakdown of the likelihood of the in-game injury on a showdown. I did not consider it for Kyler Murray on Monday.
No,
did not occur to me. Yeah. Trinell faded the Dre. Won $400. That's how you win money, right? Okay. All right, so let's take a look at this game. Kenny Walker coming back, Bobbywow?
Kenny Walker's back. He should be a full go. And Geek, he is priced in a very juicy way on DraftKings.
Interesting. All right. Well, actually, you know what? Even before we take the slate look, let's look at these defenses, right? So let's understand what we're looking at first. I've got I got the fresh points against sheet for week 15. Just got it from Statsational a couple hours ago.
And you'll see why he's cheap.
All right, so let's see here. Seattle, okay? Seattle defense, absolutely horrific against the run. So what this number right here implies, and there's two numbers that are important here, but what this number right here implies is that Seattle gives up 6.8 fantasy points above mean expectation to the running back position. Now, Bobbywow, what's exciting about this is that is the absolute worst in the NFL.
Yes.
They are the worst against the run in the National Football League. They also give up 3.67 points above expectation to opposing quarterbacks, and they're pretty bad against the tight end too, allowing a second worst in the league, 3.35 points above it. They're second worst.
Yeah,
only
it's
behind
bad.
Arizona in that category. So Seattle allowing 6 points above expectation to the run with a team that has Christian McCaffrey on it. That is two great tastes that taste great together. Peanut butter, chocolate coming together.
You peanut butter chocolate guy?
I do. I like Reese's Pieces. Yeah.
Okay. I do too.
I like it. Not my number one, but I like the peanuts and the chocolate combination.
Reese's Cups might be my number one. Just Christmas is coming up, just so you know.
Yeah. Well, that is good to know. Giant peanut butter cup on its way. DFS Army burnt into
Love
it. Okay, so the other team here that we got to deal with is San Francisco, and they're very good defensively, allowing 4 points below mean expectation to opposing quarterbacks, 5.27 points below mean to running back. They crush the running back. You do not want to be running against San Francisco. And they're pretty damn good against tight end. The only position group that can get anything done, or at least average, has been wide receiver against these guys. So that's our backdrop. But Seattle is at home, and I think they'll have at least some success at home, especially coming off the loss. Teams bounce back from a loss. And road favorites Thursday, not a good scene, Bobbywow.
Yeah, and just to add one more layer, these teams did play earlier this season. And these numbers that this chart shows, they played out in that game as well. Kenneth Walker got absolutely shut down. Geno Smith played his worst game of the season, and the receivers were all but shut down except for Lockett had a decent game. So this tells the story that week 2 told back when they matched up.
Yeah, there it is. So, I mean, almost the entire Seattle offense side is kind of like a GPP side, right? Like we can't feel supreme confidence in any of these guys.
Yeah, I think so. There's some guys that are in better spots than others pricing wise, and just given the matchups. But yeah, it's GPP only for all of these guys. You're right.
All right, so let's give it the once over here. So on Seattle, we already talked about Kenny Walker. When he plays, he's pretty much in the game the whole time, getting most of the work. Travis Homer and DJ Dallas backing him up. But when Kenny Walker's healthy, he gets the whole workload. There is risk here, Bobbywow, and I'm assuming I got to see the pricing. So we'll get to the sheet, but there's some risk here, of re-injury for Kenny Walker. I think it was a knee issue. That could be re-injured, and then all of a sudden, I think these backup Seattle running backs are something that we need to concentrate and pay attention to. Just because re-injury is a real thing that happens.
It's true.
At wide receiver, it's the Metcalf and Lockett show. Although Marquise Goodwin, do you know, Bobby, that I was chasing first place in the 150? I was like making my moves, right? And all I needed was that touchdown that went to Marquise Goodwin to have gone to Lockett or Metcalf, because I double stacked Geno, and it was my double stack lineups in the 150. Remember, that wasn't in the, in the right contest. I was making my way up to the front. And then I'm like, I think we got it. Wait, it's Marquise Goodwin? Son of a bitch. It was the garbage time one. I was so pissed.
Oh, no.
So mad. It could have had some glory. I wanted to hang with Hunter in the glory's circle.
So close.
Yeah, it was pretty close. But Marquise Goodwin, big part of the
popped off. He's popped off last week. He scored 4 touchdowns this season. He's had some good games.
Look at the snap percentage. I mean, he's out there. It's funny, oddly. I mean, if you just look at the season, it's really interesting. So, Metcalf and Lockett, 25% target share each, with Goodwin not really getting a whole lot. But last week, the snap share went up to 75. So essentially, he was on the field the whole time, and the target share up to 17%. And we saw it led to some good production for the Marquis de Goodwin.
Yeah, and Geek, for what it's worth too, kind of a rare situation where all 3 wide receivers have produced in the same game before multiple times. So it's not like we have to avoid certain wide receivers. I mean, in the past, we've avoided Lockett and Metcalf together. I don't think that's necessarily a rule that we need to set because of what Geno's done this season.
Yeah, that was Russell Wilson when he tried to cook with only one ingredient. No seasoning.
Hone in on one. No seasoning. Yes.
No seasoning with Russ. No salt. He just pick a guy. You like your steaks plain? That's Russell Wilson. No salt. Unseasoned. Medium well. Noah Fant, Will Dissly on the field, the exact same number of snaps most weeks, but last week Fant a little bit of an edge there, but Dissly a little bit of an edge in the targets. Who knows which way it goes? I think both of those tight ends are going to be viable, and for me, Fant is ahead of Dissly significantly, just generally. All right, let's shift over to the San Francisco side and take a look at some of their snap counts and good details here. So Brock Purdy did not look too bad at the helm for me, Bobbywow. What do you think?
I think he's looked fine. I mean, I wrote in my notes, it's kind of a fun little story. As long as we are willing to also acknowledge that this is going to come to an end very soon. I think it could be this game. So
he's playing well.
The playing well. He was drafted last for a reason. And look, this is a great system for him to be in. He's got good weapons, but at the end of the day, he's here to be a game manager. And those 2 words are not words you want to hear when it comes to DFS.
No, it doesn't lead to big fantasy production at all. He did run the ball a couple times, but yes, you're right. This was a 7th round draft pick rookie this year. So that's not a good scene. And I don't think we can expect a whole lot from the past guy. Although, like you said, he produced a nice game to Brandon Ayuk last week. Man, George Kittle might be interesting.
Yes, but that's the thing, and I write this in the notes multiple times. With both quarterbacks, Geno and Brock, there are plenty of paths where these wide receivers and or tight ends have really good games without these guys ending up in the nuts. Like it's very possible that, a guy like George Kittle could end up with 8 catches and 75 yards, but Purdy, McCaffrey slams a couple touchdowns, and like there are very real paths to that happening. I think this is a game that could happen. And so, yes, I'm with you.
That's really interesting. So last week I want to ignore or let's talk about the running back position. So what happened last week? It was a blowout, right? Over on the Wise Guys show, we gave out 49ers the biggest bet of the week. The alternate bet, not just -3.5. Take it -10. I have the bet in my sports book. I bet it -10 also, plus 250.
Crazy.
It was a blowout. Exactly what we said would happen happened. And you can never play the Bucs against a good defensive team. But more importantly, I believe that Jordan Mason's run in that game was fully related to the blowout nature of the game. He came in the fourth quarter and just they ran out the clock with Jordan Mason. Didn't need to do anything. So ignore the fact that he had a bigger share of the rushes than McCaffrey. This is the McCaffrey show, and we're all just watching.
Yep, that's a good call. That's exactly what happened.
Full ignore. So we want to ignore these rush percentages. But the part that I think is relevant, Bobbywow, is listen, if McCaffrey does come out, we know who's coming in.
Yep.
So I don't see a blowout game here. I don't really see like the Jordan Mason big run early, but injury run, something could happen.
We all know what happened last time. The 49ers were 3.5 point favorites.
That is true. Although, again, we are not giving out the big play.
No, we are not. No, this is different.
On this one. So, because it's a road Thursday game, like that is just a bad scene. So, here's the thing. Deebo Samuel out for this one. What does that mean for the rest of the pass catchers? I'm assuming it's Ayuk, Juwan, and Ray. Is that how you have it, Bobbywow?
I think
Ayuk,
so.
Juwan, Ray. 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's tough to say just because there was a blowout. So it's tough to say exactly what's going to happen, where those bumps and snaps are going to go. I think you also have to have a little bit of Danny Gray, as ugly as it is. But again, I think that's the order I'm going with. Ray saw by far the biggest bump in snaps last week. Again, hard to decipher if that was all because of the blowout or not, but just worth noting that I think all 4 of these guys could see a little bump in snaps.
Yeah, and Hunter is talking about Kittle. I think Kittle's a great play. You just got to like Kittle.
Love him.
And I like tight ends with neophyte quarterbacks. They tend to lean more to the tight end position. You like that word, neophyte. That means
that something you plan to work in today? It just feels like maybe.
No, I use it once in a while.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a fresh one. I've used that before. Pretty sure it means inexperienced.
I have some concerns, but yes, let's go with that for now.
Okay, I might mean something else. I hope I may be using it wrong.
Oh my God.
Maybe I'm using it wrong. I've been using that word for way too long for it to be wrong. I feel it's correct. We'll see. All right. So with all that being said, let's get into our specifics for FanDuel and DraftKings. And this is your DraftKings cheat sheet for this slate. And here is the MVP. Actually, I want to show you something really cool first. Check this out. This is the Sharp.app website, and we just added top props to the website. And you can see here, if you want to kind of get a look, one of the cool things we do is like, hey, rushing and receiving yards, right? You can see the props for each of these players and really start to get a feel for the game. Like Brandon Ayuk, total receiving yards, 55, right? So you start to get a sense, hey, what are the players doing? Juwan Jennings, 28 yards. Kittle, 41. Total receptions for Ayuk, 4.5. And we, it'll show it against the DFS Army projection and let you know if there's a bet here. But really cool feature, and it will help you on showdowns, especially kind of go through the player positions.
I love that. I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's brand new. We just launched. It's on the app, but we just launched it on the website too. So awesome. Pretty cool stuff that now I can show a little bit of that on screen we're going to hone that tool in so we can really use it to help us out on screen here, because it's annoying to look at my phone for those details. All right, so Christian McCaffrey projecting as the clear-cut top captain play, clear-cut top MVP. You've got him as a 5-star play. I mean, give me the scenarios where this works and doesn't work, Bobby.
He checks all the boxes, Geek. He's getting a ton of the snaps. He looks really, really comfortable in the offense, finally. He's scoring touchdowns. I think he's got 3 in the last 2 games. And he catches passes against one of the worst, maybe the worst, rushing defense in the league. So barring an injury, I think he smashes. And he's as close to an all-in play as you can get on a showdown slate.
Keeping in mind that it's a showdown. And
yes.
This reminds me of the video I made, again, of ownership leverage. And why, if he had an 80% chance of hitting, but 90% of the people in the tournament are going to play him, the plus EV play is the fade, even though you're going to lose money like 95% of the time doing that. It's that one time that it works that makes up for all the other time. Most people don't have the stomach for it.
Yeah, it's true.
It's as simple as that. Most people do not have the stomach. But I think you need to have lineups without Christian McCaffrey, both in the captain and the flex. And my suggestion, Bobbywow, you ready for this?
Please.
On the lineups that don't have McCaffrey as captain, those are obviously, but nonetheless, those are the ones, like, that's really where you want to control it. Maybe even full fade him if you really want to get funky with it. So let's say when 50, 60, 70%, however much McCaffrey you want to use, do it at captain and say, fuck it. For this salary, he better be the top scorer. I'm going to make him my captain. But how does he not score the most? He gets hurt. So in the non-McCaffrey captain lineups, that's where you can really mess with not having a lot or any McCaffrey. And I did win a showdown last season, I believe, or 2 years ago, where I faded a supreme chalk McCaffrey in the flex, and that worked out for a nice little win for me a couple of years ago. I still remember.
And I think the opposite is true as well. You know, run all your lineups without him in the captain, and all in the flex, or vice versa. I think both are viable tournament strategies. All
right, so getting away from McCaffrey, you know, take me through some of the other players that have potential here.
Yeah, I think we've seen Lockett and Metcalf have ceiling games this season several times. This is not a good matchup at all, but we know that if there is a weak point in the 49ers defense, it is against opposing wide receivers. So they are in play as a pivot off of McCaffrey. And I don't think these guys certainly don't get up to 10% ownership, maybe 6 or 7%. So I think they're firmly in play. I mean, again, we don't need Geno to smash for one of these guys to end up as the nuts. So both
same
are in
price.
play.
Yeah, same price for both guys. I was going to say, can you differentiate between them? I've got no differentiator whatsoever.
No, probably not.
Same thing. I think I like Lockett more.
He played much better in their matchup earlier this season. Lockett did. But again, like, it's just hard to differentiate because Metcalf is a beast. He can go off anytime.
And I agree with Hunter here. I think you can't be 24% captain and 90%.
Yeah, it's combined, right?
Yeah, it's a combined.
So maybe 50% is what he's saying.
Maybe 90% to all is what you mean there. But I get it. It's combined. You got to combine them to get the total. So the combo would be about 70-ish. I agree, though. I think he'll be closer to 85% owned.
Yeah.
If I had to guess. Brandon Ayuk had a pretty good game. No Deebo Samuel. I think that's fine.
He's legit. He's a really good wide receiver. I don't think he gets enough credit.
First round draft pick. You know, most people don't know that he was a first round draft pick. He was, Deebo Samuel's second round draft pick.
Yeah, I mean, he was forgotten about last season, and he came back in a big way. He looks good.
Yeah. George Kittle, dream matchup spot, as you say. Seahawks pretty bad against the tight end position. So yeah, and I like neophyte QBs with their tight end.
And here's what's interesting about Kittle. I think it's clear that him and Purdy have built a rapport. They look like there's something there, which is important. And I think the price difference between Ayuk and Kittle can be used to your advantage in tournaments. I think Kittle as captain is going to be like 3 to 5% owned at most. So if you're looking for pivots here, Kittle is one of the perfect captain pivots on DraftKings.
Love the tight end captain. Didn't work for us in Hunter Henry the other day, but I felt like it should have. That game just got weird. Couple other spots here. Kenny Walker is in a tough matchup. I am not going to get crazy on Kenny Walker captain spots. I love Kenny Walker as a player, but I don't like coming off the injury and then in a tough matchup. So I think he can do fine, but I'm not sure that he can do fine enough to take us to the promised land as a captain. Marquise Goodwin, Jennings both feel like turdly captain choices.
Not that he's going to repeat, but Goodwin would have been the Nuts captain last week, which is why he's there. And Juwan Jennings is going to get a bump without Debo. We've seen him do well in these types of games before, and he's the cheapest viable captain, viable as in deep punt.
The salary for Marquise Goodwin here is freaking ridiculous.
It's wild, but again, it's one of the ways to get different if you're playing Christian McCaffrey.
No question. So how are we going to afford all this goodness? Let's take a look at sort of the overall player pool here and give me some of your favorites. I see you like the kickers.
Yeah, I think my philosophy on this slate is go way underweight on the quarterbacks, especially on DraftKings, but pay up with Lockett, with McCaffrey, with DK, and that'll leave you with enough room to go after this middle zone, like with an Ayuk or a Kittle. So I'll probably be half the field ownership at most on these QBs. I think that's the way to get unique, and that's where I'll be. So that's where I'm at quarterback wise. I think some of my favorite plays down here, we talked about Kittle. The kickers are firmly in play. Love the kickers. I love the price on Juwan Jennings. And I think we need to pay some attention to the 49ers defense here as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's road defense, but why not? And of course, Ray McLeod's going to be on the field for 1,200. He'll be on the field. He'll be that WR2/3, whatever. So he'll be out there a little bit. And I think he's I like your pick of him here as sort of the best pay down option. I agree. Where's Noah Fant? Priced above the kickers. Now, one other note I want to mention, if Jordan Mason, the clear RB2, Eli Mitchell out, blowout or CMC injury for him to make value. He's priced up too high for the standard role of the backup running back, which is why I will set a rule on the optimizer when I'm making lineups that says, I'm gonna force a minimum. By the way, Josh Johnson, here's a great this is like $1 million tournament play, right? Brock Purdy gets hurty. Josh Johnson did win somebody $500K. Jets, Jets. Jets. That happened. So I love that. I love that call, Trinell. But my first call is I will set a forced min, Bobbywow, on Jordan Mason. Now, I'm not going to tell you what my percentage will be, but might be in the 10 to 15% zone. And I'm going to play it for the injury. I will have a rule that does not allow him in the same lineup with Christian McCaffrey. Now, that will rule out wins where McCaffrey and Mason, the blowout win, right? That will rule it out. So if you make a rule like that, accept it. Or make some lineups this way, some lineups that way. But I know I need to make some lineups where I have the one without the other just in case. You know, if you had that rule the other night, if you didn't make the rule, I set it for the Monday game, right? Of course, I didn't expect him to get hurt, but like with who was it that got hurt on Monday? Which running back was it? Ramondre, right?
Yeah,
we said, yeah. And in the end, it didn't work out anyway because I thought it was Kevin Harris. Pierre Strong came in and did his thing.
Both those guys.
Yeah, they both went off.
Were great.
But I had said, if you're going to play these guys, make a rule, maybe not to include them in Stevenson lineups.
Yep,
if you did that, you were in a better spot, because at least the lineup that got burned by Stevenson, you had a lot of Stevenson, but those 10, 20, 15% of lineups that didn't have him had the backup in it. So those were the live ones. That's all you could do. You set yourself up like that with the rules. All right, let's take a quick look over on DraftKings and make us an initial public line, an IPL, so to speak, an initial public lineup. I like that. All right.
Well, while you're pulling that up, Geek, just two quick mentions. One is the Seattle defense. I think people have already forgotten that this is Brock Purdy. He's a rookie quarterback. He was picked last in the draft.
On the road.
On the road. He's gonna do rookie quarterback things. He also has an oblique injury that he'll play. He'll start. But there's that. Seattle defense is a little bit intriguing here. So just to mention that before we get rolling.
Always got to play those defenses, and the oblique injury. Josh
There
Johnson.
There you go.
If you play Josh Johnson, you need a rule that is not in the same lineup with Brock Purdy. Although I like, Josh Johnson, he's good. He's a good player.
He put up like 30 points in the second half in that Jets game, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he went nuts. That was awesome. All right, so back into it here. And yeah, I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Like you're going all in on a guy who can get banged up pretty easily. That's all I'm saying. But we'll make a generic lineup here. So I am going to start it with Christian McCaffrey as our starting point.
Got to go one of Lockett or DK.
I'll choose Lockett. I choose violence with Lockett.
Kittle,
all right, so where am I going from here, Bobby?
Go George Kittle.
Kittle's might be too expensive to afford in a lineup like this. Oh, no. Okay. No. All right.
Then I'm probably going kicker. At least one of them. Maybe both.
Could go Noah Fant or a defense here, like 49ers.
Could do that as well.
Let's see here. 49ers defense. 49ers defense gets us nowhere except for either Mason, which we don't want, Noah Fant, or another kicker.
You're not going to like this. If you go take away 49ers, plug in
Juwan?
Kenneth Walker.
Dynamite. Oh boy. 3,100. Okay. And then we're finishing out. Oh, you were hoping for Seattle defense, right?
Yeah, can't do that.
What if we switch Gould to Myers, and that gets you Seattle defense?
That's interesting.
I don't care which kicker it is.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely don't have a kicker preference either.
And this is a lot of Seattle for a game that I kind of feel like will go the other way, but I like it. Good enough for me.
More GPP than we set off for, but
yeah, good enough for me. All right, let's talk a little bit of FanDuel, Golden Duel here, and I'm really curious to see who you have as your potential MVPs. And once again, I guess we're going back to CM Sizzles, of course. Top play.
Yep.
FanDuel favors running backs and quarterbacks.
How can you not love him? I mean, again, reasons to fade, but he's easily could go all in on him.
Brock Purdy, cool stuff. Did Brock Purdy have a good game?
I bumped him to 2.5 stars.
I mean, the guy put up 21 fantasy points.
Yeah, I mean, he's fine. The Seahawks giving up a ton of points to quarterbacks, but again, he got
there with a rushing touchdown.
I don't see this as a consistent Brock Purdy legit performance. It's going to come to an end. I think this might be where it comes to an end. Like
the Miami game was more along the lines of what we can expect, but that was fine too. All right, 15. I think that's in the realm of stuff that is likely to happen. I think he's weirdly priced. Usually they give us a little bit of a cheaper price point for this style of quarterback, but they didn't do that here. It is noteworthy that he's thrown for 2 touchdowns both games. That's real. Yeah. That's real. Gino. So let's go back to the cheat sheet here. Where are we? Okay. Brock Purdy. Are we stacking him, and with how many?
Yeah, you're probably stacking Purdy with one or more of those four guys. Even those three. You could even go Ayuk, Jennings, and Kittle if you wanted to. That's probably what I'll do.
Ayuk,
1+.
And one of those three.
Yeah.
Ayuk, Jennings.
And of course,
I kind of think
McCaffrey as well.
He could throw to McCaffrey. I was going to say, you got to almost include McCaffrey in that mix as well. From there, Brandon Ayuk, fine. Kenny Walker. I think 49ers defense.
Probably. Yeah, you can make the case.
Like a little something. I don't love, Metcalf Lockett too much here in this kind of situation. I might skip that personally when I'm running mine. I just don't like it that much. But
I don't love it. I think the area of note for me here is Kenneth Walker. If we're going to get Kenneth Walker, a legitimate starting running back at 2 or 3% MVP, come on. That's crazy. We're talking 5x leverage by just having 10 to 12% exposure.
You know which running back was going up against an elite run defense recently? The number
James
one
Conner,
run defense?
Wasn't it?
Yes, it was. James Conner. What did he do? Nuts. He fucking juggled nuts all over the place.
That should just jump off the page at you.
Look at this move. That's nuts juggling. It's smaller than
you look
normal
like a pro, man. Holy cow.
It's smaller than like juggling juggle balls. Juggling nuts because they're small. I mean fucking walnuts, bro. I don't know what you guys are thinking. I wasn't talking about anything else. God damn it.
Yeah, I think Kyle's had a couple comments in there. I think to his point, that's the leverage. Like McCaffrey is clearly the best play on paper. That's why he's a core play. That's why he's 5 stars. The reason we include these other guys is because these are the pivots. This is where you make your money. This is where you take tournaments down. So that's kind of the way the sheet's set up.
That's how you win the tournament. You don't win it by playing Christian McCaffrey when everybody's playing Christian McCaffrey. You're not special for figuring out that Christian McCaffrey is a good play. You didn't stand out from the crowd by thinking that, Mahomes is going to score a lot of fantasy points in his next game. Doesn't make you special. You got to figure out the 2.5 star, the turd that goes off. That's what we call where my turd's at. That's how you win these. So,
and the craziest part is Kenneth Walker's not a turd. Like the matchup stinks. It's the worst matchup ever. But he's a good player.
Yeah, he's very good.
Good player.
It's risky, but listen, he's at home Thursday. Weird shit happens in Thursday football. Let's not forget. Weird shit happens. Team goes on the road. They take a flight. They're not fully prepared for the game. They're not up for it. Whatever.
Short week.
So many
short week,
things.
And Kenny Walker's coming off. He's coming off not playing. He's fully rested.
Young legs, fresh legs. Rookie.
Just saying.
Yeah, it's fine. And the line for this game is close at 3.5. We're not talking about a blowout prediction here. So, yeah, Kenny Walker can do it. Again, against the number one defense, that'll keep the ownership low. Although I do think the ownership will come up from here. It's only just getting out there that Walker will even be healthy for this game.
That's true.
That news is only now disseminating. All right, so George Kittle 10-5, one of my better plays, I would say here. 3.5 stars. I think we both agree that's a good play. Homer, no. Kickers. Let's see, Jawan. I'm trying to get to the zone of money savings.
Noah Fant, again, so volatile, but he stands out at 7K as a decent savings play to me. Can catch a touchdown.
Yeah, Noah Fant, I think at that 7K level on FanDuel opens up a lot, and he really has been supremely involved.
Aside from last week, he's been seeing 4 to 5 targets pretty much routinely.
And we love the touchdown scorers on FanDuel, and tight ends are touchdown scorers. So that's your affordability spot, I would say. Ray, just okay, K for me.
Yeah, big time. It's a punt, in my opinion. his chances of getting a 0 are pretty high.
And then Jordan Mason as the backup running back is going to get run. Yeah. I don't really want to go this turdly. Not the FBI. Cody Parkinson.
He has a touchdown.
It's a bit
on the season. I think Disley has 3 touchdowns.
Juszczyk could put a touchdown in any game.
Oh my God. Yeah.
He's the Taysom Hill of the 49ers.
I write that in there. I said it's almost Juszczyk slates are almost as bad as Taysom Hill slates.
I like Taysom Hill slates. You guys rip on Taysom Hill. Embrace the variance. Embrace it. Remember last time I loaded up on Taysom. He went nuts.
It's true. That did happen.
It feels like KJ ruins one of these slates every year, and he's always live for a random touchdown. Yes, to all of that. So when you're making your lineups, you know, it's and you're trying to win the tournament on FanDuel where it's ties galore. Let's say you played Christian McCaffrey as your MVP. You and, you know, let's say you're in a 50,000 person contest. So like you and 30,000 other lineups all have Christian McCaffrey at the helm. And there's only 5 spots on FanDuel. Like there ain't that many players to cycle through. So the only way you even have any sort of a chance of having a win that doesn't tie with 400 people is if you squeeze in a 2 or 3%er that goes off.
Yeah, and Geek, here's the thing about this 49ers team. Just to point out, to your point, when it comes to being unique, it's well within the realm of possibilities that Juwan Jennings could outscore Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle. Like, don't be afraid to leave a bunch of salary on the table because it's reasonable to think Juwan Jennings could do that. We could even see Marquise Goodwin outscore one of these big Seattle wide receivers. So just also keep that in your mind as you're building your lineups. There are some legitimate ways to get unique.
Or just play Josh Johnson.
That does it too.
Nuts. That's the win. That's the win condition right there. Josh Johnson. I love it. All right, let's try it now. Now let's try to make a lineup, taking all this into account. And once again, even though we talked many scenarios about Christian McCaffrey, I do like to, on a $33 entry, I'm going to play the chalk captain and try to make it a little cashy just for the purpose of the video. So, because you want some of these to finish in the money when you do them.
That's always nice when that happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, hey, you did this all and only one of yours made it, but it won the tournament. No one appreciates that one. So that's why we do that. So I'm starting with Christian McCaffrey. Where am I going from here, Bobbywow?
I am probably going to go George Kittle.
10K George Kittle. Great play.
It's so tough because he's so close to Tyler Lockett. Like, he's not cheap. That's what kills me about that.
No, and he's not a guy that puts up big numbers like regularly, but what are you going to do? It's a lot of San Francisco.
I'm probably putting Noah Fant in here.
So affordability.
Get some affordability going. I feel like...
Let's see how much we have left. Hold on. 12-5. 2 spots.
I like Kenny Walker. You could go Lockett and Walker, but that's a lot of Seattle.
Ooh, okay. Wait a minute. Because of Fant. If you put in Lockett, then it's okay. It's okay. I like
Or
Geno.
DK.
I wouldn't mind Purdy and all that if we could afford it. But we can't. So from here, I do
DK
not,
or Lockett.
Yeah, I mean, you could just I can go Lockett and just be done.
That's not
Lockett,
a bad lineup
Walker,
right there.
Fant. I feel like this is the exact lineup we made on the other side. Doesn't feel very diverse.
Oh no, this is more. I thought this was more cashy, or
Very
more
cashy.
conservative.
We have 1,000 to spend, so I guess the question would be: do you feel it's better with Goodwin over Fant?
I think it's the same. I don't mind it.
I like leaving some salary on the table if I can, so I'd rather leave it. Let's look at other positions. Kittle to no, there's nothing to do there. Walker can go to Ayuk.
There you go. I think that works too.
Yeah. So a few different ways to build a lineup here on FanDuel. And Final thoughts, Bobbywow.
Yeah, I think if you were wanting to try taking a risk, reserve some cheap contests, find the 5-cent contests. I don't know if they do a penny for this slate, but find those cheap contests and practice MME for this one. Fade McCaffrey, do something unique. This is the slate for that. So if you've ever wanted to try it or you've been curious, that'd be my advice.
Unique approaches, right? So I love that. So do some McCaffrey fades where you load up on Mason. Do some Walker fades.
We load up on Homer because DJ Dallas is likely going to be out. Homer got 90% of the snaps last week. He would be the guy again. Do it.
Do a little bit of that. Do some Purdy fades with Josh Johnson, right? And then know that what you just played scenarios that have like a 5%, maybe lower chance of actually occurring. But if it did occur, it would probably win you a lot of money. And if you repeated the process, so if you're doing it like that, you just repeat the process. You know, if let's say you play the penny or the nickel game, something where you have no care about the $7 that you're putting into it, like the nickel game on FanDuel. I'm sure, I would imagine DraftKings has those types of games too. What is the cheapest? What is DraftKings up to? Is it just a mini max for 50? Is there a 25-cent? Is there a 10-cent?
I'm not sure.
Is there like something cheap enough to fuck around with on? They should have contests. They should have like a nickel game so people can have fun making 150.
I agree though. Yes.
The DraftKings don't want to do it because they don't make money. They're a lot, you know, like we don't care. We don't fuck you. We don't make money on it. That's the problem. Like they should do that. Let me train in real time. So it allows your brain to practice like not worrying about losing. And
there has to be, because a couple weeks ago, a DFS Army member won like $1,000 on a nickel contest.
It was last week, and all of DFS. Wait, I have it. Hold on a second. Check this out.
It happened again a couple weeks ago as well. So multiple times.
Wait, take a look at this. It was this, but it was a mini max. It was a 50 center, and that has real prizes. Look at how many DFS Army people were. This is crazy.
Yeah, that happened.
Screenshotted it, and somebody was like, dude, look at first place, third place, fourth place, fifth place. It was crazy.
So wild.
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
And the one I'm thinking of too, to the tone of practicing with a nickel contest, somebody put in what, $7, $7.50? Is that what it is? They won $1,000 with the top prize. I mean, the return on that is insane. So
I'm assuming that was FanDuel. I think FanDuel has a 5-cent.
I thought it was DK, but maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. It could be.
I don't know. The point is, this is the slate to practice a little bit. Dip your toes in the MME water and have some fun.
Supreme chalk, so fading chalk. Don't be scared to fade that chalk. You're probably going to lose your money. But one time you'll do it, and it'll pay off for all the times it doesn't. It's that simple. All right, I think that'll wrap it up for this one, Bobbywow. Guys, in the comments, let us know who your favorite captain is. Give me somebody not McCaffrey. Favorite captain. And then separately, give me your favorite turd. Who is the sub 10% player for this week that's going to lead us to the promised land? I read all the comments, so drop it in there. Let us know who you like. Give me somebody sub 10%. So that's you gotta take it to the turd zone. It's not Ayuk. It's not
to the turd zone. I like that.
Not Lockett.
There's something there.
One of those other names.
Also, if you put use check, you're getting deleted right away.
No,
I'm just kidding.
You can put use check. Don't listen to Bobbywow. He hates Kyle Juszczyk and Taysom Hill for no reason. Irrational hatred. Unacceptable. I love those people. Will Dissly. Steve's got it. Yeah, that's who.
There you go.
That's who gets you there. That's who gets you there. You win a tournament with Will Dissly this week.
I think Danny Gray is mine, Geek. Danny Gray.
Danny Gray. No one's playing Danny Gray. I hadn't even heard of Danny Gray before 10 minutes ago when you mentioned him the first time. That was the first time I ever heard the name. And I'm supposed to know every player. I never even had heard of him. No longer the Encyclopedia Footballica that I thought I was. I'm like, oh, you're spitting names of players I've never heard of now? Great. That's what the turd show is all about. All right, guys. Good luck. We will see you on the top of the leaderboards. Reminder, you have to hit the not just subscribe to the channel. Make sure you got the notification bells rung. We've got a Saturday slate, a Sunday slate, tournament tag. We're still trying to figure out what tournament we're going to do the tactics for. 3-gamer, 10 gamer, both. I don't know.
Maybe both.
We got to split them up. We're going to split them up. We're going to have we got a Saturday 3-game slate, got a Sunday 10-game, so we're splitting them up. We're breaking it all down. Bobbywow, make no plans. Tell your wife, busy.
I cannot wait. It's going to be fun. I can't tell her that. She tells me what to do, but I'm excited. We're going to make it happen.
Definitely don't tell her that. I was just kidding. Never. No. Anyway. All right. Good luck this week, everyone. We'll see you next time.